Hey everybody, how's it going? Thank you so much for watching. Today I am lucky enough to be playing this vintage Gibson ES-150, and this one is from 1954, which is very, very cool. Now, I don't own this guitar. A friend of mine is letting me play it before he sells it, before he gets rid of it. I guess he doesn't want it, or he doesn't want to play it, or anything like that. I took it as an opportunity to record it a little bit and just kind of preserve its sound in, well, digital format, so that I might be able to look at this later, or anybody might be able to look at this later and be like, wow, that's what a 1954 Gibson ES-150 sounded like. And I'll talk a little bit about this guitar in a second. Let's listen to how it sounds first. Let's do that first. This one is not in the best of conditions. There is some stuff going on with it. I would say it is a player grade, and it does need some repairs. First of all, it does have a brace on the inside of this that goes from back here all the way to up here, and the brace is loose. Unfortunately, in order to fix that, you really have to take the back off of this guitar and then go back in and glue that, and it's a pretty serious job considering that you have to take the back off of this guitar, and because it's such an old guitar, it's really dry, so the chances of it breaking or becoming worse definitely are increased when we do a job like that, when there is something to be done like that, which is unfortunate. And the other thing is, of course, that does hurt the value on this guitar a little bit, because yeah, you had to go into the guitar, you had to take off part of the guitar. It'd be like, you know, taking off your arm and then doing some work and then putting your arm back on. Now, luckily in medicine, you know, it's a lot different, but with guitars, unfortunately, it's you know, that's difficult. We can't just go through the front of these F-holes here and fix it. I can barely even put my pinky through this whole thing, and I can kind of feel the brace when I go in there a little bit, but not much. So that is really unfortunate, but I'll kind of just start from the back up. The ES-150, ES stands for electric Spanish, and it is a hollow body. It's not a guitar that I would really play with heavy distortion or anything like that, because it would be very, very susceptible to feedback. That being said, it does have a really cool tone. It's a P90, it's a dog ear P90, and there's only one of them. It's kind of like one of those things where you plug it and go, with a volume knob and a tone knob. They are a little bit dirty on the potentiometers, but that can easily be cleaned out. We also have this tailpiece, which allows the strings to lock in and then goes over this adjustable bridge here. The bridge on this can adjust up and down, and it is actually being held on by the tension of the strings. So if we were to take these strings off, which are old and dead, by the way, when you listen to that, how this sounds, keep that in mind, that these strings are not great. You know, they're pretty much dead, but you can still get an idea of the tone of the guitar. But if we took these strings off, this bridge will move back and forth, which is cool. So that's how guitars were done back then, and still some guitars are done like that now. I know Gretsch does that, and a lot of the old electric Spanish style guitars. This is like an entry-level orchestral kind of guitar, almost like a jazzer kind of guitar, and it's cool. Back when they were doing this sunburst finish, which looks really cool, and I really like this sunburst because it kind of eases in the shoulders. It like drapes over, and we do have this pickguard here which kind of hides it a little bit, and the pickguard has even warped ever so slightly down. There's a little bit of bellying, but not much. I mean, it's to be expected on an old guitar like this. I love how the neck is set in there. Just a cool piece of history by Gibson. The inside, there may have been a sticker at one point with a whole serial number. You can't see it anymore now. There is a stamp there though, and the stamp does start with the letter Y, and that's how I was able to identify that it was a 1954 up at Replay Guitar Exchange. We looked it up online, and that told us that the guitar was a 1954, even though some of these go back into the 40s. It does have a rosewood fingerboard and these really tiny little baby frets on these trapezoid inlays. I mean, the guitar feels good. It's cool. Now, one of the things that has been changed on this guitar are the tuning keys. You know, it happens. You know, these tuning keys get really old, and these ones actually hold the tuning very well, and they don't feel like they're a pain to move. Some of these vintage tuning keys, when you try to start to turn them, it's like scary to turn them because they feel like they're gonna break or pop at any given second. But not this one, and of course it does have a bunch of checking. This is really just to share how cool this old guitar is, this 1954 guitar is, and though it does need some work, and after that it will become what I consider a player grade guitar, it is such a cool guitar, and I hope that whoever does end up owning this guitar one day, it makes them really happy, because Gibson has come such a long way. They've had their good years and their bad years, but they all kind of stem from old stuff like this, and these early pickups like this dog ear P90, which just sounds so cool, and it's just so cool, and I'm so lucky to be able to play a guitar like this in the first place. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you enjoyed this kind of stuff, or just like looking at this old piece of history on my YouTube channel, do me a favor, let me know. Did I miss anything that I should share about this guitar? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to subscribe. You know the whole thing. Thanks for watching Riff with Cliff. My name's Cliffhanger. I'll see you guys the next time that I see you. Now, should I plug this thing into an orange rocker verb? No, I'm just kidding.